Hi, Mark.
Hello. Yes, hello.
Can you hear me? So only you and me, right?
Yeah, at this time it's only me and you.
Have you tried share screen? Because I have to chair a meeting panel tomorrow, so I'm trying to
Oh,
practice it.
uh, thinking of breaking. Hello. Yes, I think I missed. Oh,
Can you
yes,
hear
I
me?
can see your screen. Yes, I can see your screen.
Is my background other way around?
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm seeing it normally.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, okay. Actually, I was asking how to share the screen. Now I think I'm sharing the screen, right?
Yes, yes, you are sharing the screen. Yes.
Okay, because tomorrow I have to
Oh,
make a presentation. So that's why, sorry, share a panel and I have to share the screen. Stop sharing. Now I stopped.
yes. Now you stopped sharing. Yes.
Share screen. Okay, share screen. I can show only on share. Seems I cannot share files. Only something on the Google Chrome.
Yeah, I'm seeing Google Chrome when you want to share PowerPoint. Yeah.
Can you also try?
Yeah, let me try. Let me share my screen. Share video.
I
Oh,
think Erika is here.
oh yeah.
Erika,
I
are you
am.
Good
here?
luck. Yeah, good luck, guys.
Yeah. No, I'm not a panelist here, only Mark. I'm the organizer. Actually, Erika, I'm trying to practice sharing the screen because tomorrow in the other panel, I have to share the screen with the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But when I try to share the screen, it goes only to the Google Chrome. There is no
Oh,
way
right.
for me to.
You let me. When you click on the share screen,
Mm.
what on top there is click here to start sharing the screen. So once you click, you'll be. Are you able to see my screen now? Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me try then.
Yeah.
But I think it goes to, you can see blue jeans, right?
Yes. Yes. I
Uh,
can see. Yes.
wait, what? No, I see the browser.
Yeah,
I'm.
blue
Yeah. I'm
jeans.
seeing. Yeah. In
Okay.
the browser.
Yeah, but I don't get an option to find my file and share it because I have to tomorrow share the
Okay.
presentation.
Asala, below the list, when you click share screen, there should be click here to start start sharing, right? At the bottom, there should be a list of applications. Do you see
Mm.
it? So just
Yeah,
click on which application.
it shows Windows Explorer.
PowerPoint. I. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you see now?
Yes,
Yes.
the
Yes.
image.
Okay. 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 Now, yes, I see. So opened one side in the list, right? So
Okay.
Yeah.
let me also try to maybe open that file and try to share the actual presentation.
Mm-hmm.
We can see whether it works.
I don't understand why they use another platform.
Antonina is here, right?
Yes. Hi. Yes. How are
Hi,
you?
Antonina.
Fine.
Marco is
Antonina,
also.
I miss you.
Yeah, I miss you too.
Let me quickly
Hello,
check.
everybody.
Hi.
Hi,
Okay,
Marco.
Marco.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that comes. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
We were just testing share screen, Marco, for
Okay.
tomorrow.
Let me test.
Hi, Mark. Hi.
Hello, Marco. Glad to see you again.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Antonina.
Hi. How are you?
Good, good. And you?
Yes, good.
So everything is ready, right? We are in the good hands of Azela.
We are waiting for, I think, Bastian,
Okay.
Mafalda.
You can see my screen, yes, with webinar or with roundtable start.
It's coming. Yeah, now I can see.
So it's so slow. Okay.
Yeah. Antonina, do you want to go to the last slide with quotes?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, Marco, this is your quote at the end.
It's interesting when I was looking for a quote. Marco has so many for young and emerging evaluators. I didn't know how to pick. Yeah, yeah. He has given us so many. Yeah.
So whatever you say, it's already said by Marco, right? So about quotes. Antonina, so we have roundtables, panels, different sessions, but I think we do all sessions in the same way, right? I don't see big difference in sessions.
No, I think that roundtable should be like more conversational, you know?
Yeah,
So that's why I really like hope that people will write some questions and we will be able to address more, or even at the end we will be able to to give people voice. I need to close my window, I think.
we have 3 more minutes, right? Perhaps the previous session is still going on.
But previous session was panel, no? It was not roundtable. But it was also a lot of speakers.
Elena is here. We need Mafalda and hello, Elena.
Hi. Okay.
2 more minutes. And participants, they just come, or the technical person or the admin allow them to come on time?
No,
How
they
does
just
it work?
come when they
just
want.
come? Okay.
I think that like 37 participants pointed that they will be here, but let's see.
37 participants in our session?
37. They can like choose in Hova if they are attending or not. But you know, it's like we don't know. They are just planning to attend. Let's see.
They have already chosen this session.
Yes, yes, yes.
So are we starting at 40 minutes or 50 minutes?
So in agenda in Hova, it's like 50. So we have
It was
time.
changed 2 times, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So
Because
it's
until
less than 1
45.
minute.
No, but we are not starting in 1 minute. We are starting in 11 minutes.
Yeah, I joined because I was a bit confused by many invitations and better earlier than later. I also had a quick chat with Bastian, and he found out that VCD laptop is facing the firewall, but don't worry, he has some other device. It's just maybe a bit less comfortable than the laptop, but he will be here.
It seems that he has some speaking problem as well, right?
Yes, we struggled.
Yeah, I faced the same issue, but I discovered it later because I was testing with Lauren and the conference team, the tools. And some organizations has firewalls, so Blue Jeans kind of is not within the fire, within allowed, maybe. And the other issue is like when you use your Macintosh, I, for example, cannot blur or
Bastian is here. Mafalda is here. I think participants are also joining. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, but we still we're starting in
Are
9
you sure we are
minutes. Yes.
starting
In 10 minutes.
in 10 minutes? Because
I have a very bad voice. So please, apologies. So this is very embarrassing because I have, apart from this one, other important meetings. And I had one just now, and halfway through, I lost my voice again.
Yeah, Bastian, you sound not yourself. It's true.
No, and I'm trying to find a way to at least speak. But this morning there was nothing coming out, really. So I may be telling just 1 or 2 anecdotes, and then we have to stop. It's not COVID, which is what I thought it was, but it's embarrassing nevertheless. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
So I had 1 hour and a half to get connected in different ways, and I don't like the software so much, to be honest. Because as Alina probably was telling you, it's not authorized. I guess it doesn't come through the firewall. So I used my iMac, and in fact, there was no possibility to blur the image, the background.
But the same is for me. I just have more universal office background, and I hope it's okay.
Can you have a sort of fake background?
No, because on Macintosh I cannot, and I actually updated to the latest update, and still there is no. So
Okay.
that's an issue for the future conferences. During this conference, I think Mac users don't have the full functionality. Or at least
Okay.
many of them. Can you hear me today?
Can you hear me today?
Yeah, but the screen is gray. Is that normal?
Gray? No, it's the wall behind me.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Mafalda, still there is a little bit of echo.
I don't understand why, because this is a different laptop. It's new, so I don't know.
It could be
Actually,
me.
now it's improved.
Sorry?
Maybe it's me.
Now you cannot hear me, probably. Can you hear me, Antonina and Bastian?
Yes, I can hear. I think it's a problem that Malfada, you don't use like your earphones. You're just using computer, and
Yes.
it's some kind of an echo in your, I don't know, system, audio system or something.
Okay. So, okay, I'm going to see if I can find the headphones with the micro.
But it's much better now. than
It's much
previous.
better. So I think
Yes.
I'm going with this way, because I don't know where I have my headphones with the micro to talk, because this laptop is different.
Yeah, we have 6 minutes in order to start. Actually, only in 1 minute previous session will end. So it is like very tight agenda in ES.
Yes, it's anyway, it's the first time we arrange the virtual conference, and with less support of the secretariat, because it's coincided with the time when we changed the secretariat. So some untested things are popping up, but I hope that overall people still have a good experience. If not, we will know about it, Antonina.
No, I think it's like no, it's good because you may skip a session, or you may be late in several minutes. It's fine, it's not like problem for participants.
I think for me the most comfortable thing that I will be able to watch any session later recorded, because this week I work from the office, and it's just not convenient to incorporate the conference in the week that I'm in the office. But I mapped
True,
many questions.
But at the same time, if people know that it's like only one time event, they will join many sessions. But if they know that, okay, I can watch it like during 6 months, okay, I will skip it. And
Yeah, I know. But we are working with what we have next year. Yeah, Copenhagen. Fingers crossed. I'm afraid already to even pronounce it, because this year should have been Copenhagen, and the previous one. Bastian is silent. Don't waste your voice, because I know what you think.
But is it going to be next June in Denmark or no?
Yes.
So, 3 minutes.
What I was saying is that I think there are some 1,200 people registered for the virtual conference, which is not bad. I was saying if my voice really breaks down, I will play a little song on the guitar.
oh, nice.
And also this morning I did not have access to the internet, so I was a bit worried, because I do not have another solution if I lose access. So let's hope that everything goes smoothly.
It'll be fine.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
Marco. How are
Marco.
you?
Hi. Hi, Elena. Hi, Mafalda. Hi, Bastian.
Hi.
Everything good?
Everything is good here.
No, not
That's
my
great.
voice.
Ah, yeah, you have a special voice.
Yeah, that's and it sometimes disappears, so I apologize for that. I try to do my best.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not COVID, and we
Okay,
are ripped anyway.
that's the good news.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, which is the bad news. It means
But
that
it's
we're
the
still.
first time, or
Yeah,
it
it's
is?
been a very long while. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
there are still other viruses around apparently.
Okay, good to see that I'm not the only one without a background. So Mark is the only professional guy around with a nice background, etc.
We wanted to, but I'm not able. Where I able to put background, my firewall, my work computer doesn't allow to reach BlueJeans. And on Macintosh, both me and Bastian, there is no option to blur background. So
Yeah. I mean, me too. I tried, but there is no the function for the background. It doesn't appear in my screen.
exactly, one line is missing, and it's something for EAS team to take into account for any next major event using BlueJeans.
Yeah. Anyway, the important thing is that we are here.
I also think so.
I always use my gray wall as background. I do not have any other background.
Yeah, very minimalistic background. Yeah, but and then there is also Antonina with the blue curtains. So
Yes.
yeah.
I can say it's like,
Antonina, is
our
time
future.
up? Is time up for?
Yes, let's wait like 1 minute more because I think it's like just 5 minutes between. We still have like some time, like 1 minute, and we can start. 12 people here.
Yeah, I saw that we have at least 20 attendees, but I don't know if they are going to join us.
Yeah, but because people are joining, as I see, so.
Can we see where the other people are? Can we see where the other people are or not?
So we can see currently we have like 12 participants. Now it's 13. Yes.
I
Okay,
only see a gray. Oh, that's probably your screen. I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, me too. I see a gray screen. I don't know if it's my computer or.
I see the same.
We all
have
see
gray
a gray screen.
Yeah.
I also see a gray screen.
And do you see the participants?
But you don't have like you don't see my screen like round table presentation.
Now yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah, now it's there.
In the upper right corner, Bastian. If you click on people, you will see.
Right corner.
Okay, I think
great.
I think we can start.
Antonina, just for you to be aware that, for example, now your screen, it is at least in my screen, it became gray.
Gray, yes.
So just for you to be aware that probably it can happen that while you are talking, etc., the screen will somehow disappear. Yeah, just for you to be aware.
Another option. Okay, let's try. Now it's fine, yes?
Yeah, now yes.
Okay, I hope it will work. Okay, hello everyone. I'm happy to see you here in our roundtable. And it is nice to have all of you in our virtual room. Welcome to our roundtable Boosting a Career in Evaluation, Practical Tips by Senior and Young Evaluators. You can start writing, introducing yourself in our chat box, so we can see who are with us now today, and we maybe adjust something in our discussion in order to meet your expectations or ideas or comments. I will be moderating this roundtable. My name is Antonina Rishko-Porcescu. I am PhD in sociology, an independent evaluator, and worked with different international agencies, but also local NGOs. Also, I am a co-leader of Evalues ICA in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and South Caucasus, and involved in many initiatives of young and emerging evaluators. Okay, before we start, since BlueJeans is kind of a new platform for many of us, I just want to to put some points on how to use this platform and what we should remember. If your connections allow, you may open your video camera so we can see you. We don't have many participants. Maybe it will be nice to see your face and your smiles. Please be sure that you are muted when you are not talking, in order we avoid any other sounds around. If you have any questions, reactions, ideas, please write us in the chat box in the right high upper corner. If you would like in our Q&A here or discussion time to voice up your question, idea, or comment, you may raise your hand. You may switch people tab and raise hand. It will be on the right down corner. And also, if you have any technical issue, you might contact volunteer. It is in our list of people. We have volunteers who may help you with any technical issues. Also, if you might change your screen view, it is in the left down corner. It can be like with our presentation, with all people as a gallery of people, and also both. And you may change in different period of our roundtable. Okay. Let me start by introducing our speakers. We have 5 brilliant speakers for our roundtable today. Alena Lapo-Voronetskaya is an evaluation specialist with over 8 years of experience in evaluation and research, most recently for OECD, the World Bank, IAG, FAO's Independent Office of Evaluation, and IFAD. Elena is a board member of European Evaluation Society, an international organization for cooperation in evaluation. She is also a leader of EAS Group on Young and Emerging Evaluators, Evalues Chapter for Europe. Nice to see you here, Elena. And our next speaker is Marco Segone. He's the Director of Evaluation in UNFPA, former UNEC chair and founder and former co-chair of Eval Partners. He has proven track record in strengthening evaluation system in the United Nations, as well as national evaluation systems, leveraging partnerships with governments, CSOs, UN, banks, parliamentarians, and academia. Hey, Marco. Mark Molobi is a MAL consultant for Digital Impact Alliance. He is a vice chair for Evalues Global Network and co-chair of AFREA Network. He is also a core member of IRIPE, an initiative for professionalization of evaluation. Mark is a strong advocate and champion for ease in Africa. And our next speaker is Mafalda Cunha. Is an evaluation consultant that works with private and public organizations and is a co-chair for IDEAS thematic interest group on EE and member of Eval SDGs management group. She delivers evaluation work through the various phases of the evaluation process and has substantial consultancy experience. She holds degrees in economics as well as in audit and management control. And our last but not least speaker is Bastien Delat, is acting head of in-depth evaluation and OECD, in charge of evaluation of the OECD committees and former EAS president. Prior to this, he was evaluation expert and team leader at the IAB, where he led major evaluations and evaluator at the CEB. Earlier, he was director of Technopolis. So we have such brilliant 5 speakers during our roundtable, and I just shortly want to show our agenda. We will have 2 rounds of questions for our speakers, and between these rounds we will have short Q&A, and also finalized our roundtable with more extensive discussion together with our participants. Again, if you want to ask something for our speakers, you may write in chat box, and also in the end of our roundtable, you will be able to ask or to discuss more. Let's see. And with further delay, I want to start our first round. And our first question is really interesting. We will be talking about start of career in evaluation and lessons learned. We would like to point here more like real stories from experience, from both like from young and emerging evaluators' experience and also from senior evaluators' experience. How did you start your career, and what was like story for your lessons learned? So I would like to start with Elena. Please, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much, Antonina. I should say that boosting evaluation career as a rocket, it's of course very difficult to do, but there are some useful tips, and I really hope that our participants would take something from our experience. I would like to recall the story from one of the first assignments, my first year of working in evaluation, where I understood that skills like management and also softer skills like communication and negotiation should not be undermined in evaluation, where of course technical skills are very important, there are methodologies, but this should not be undermined. When I was entrusted with the responsibility to that time co-manage my first project, I was very excited, and I did it with my colleague. We were 2 co-managers, and it was clear from the start that in our team we had a senior consultant, very respected subject matter expert. And it was clear from the start that maybe communication and some assignments of responsibilities were not very clear. There were some red lights, red signs that suggested that we don't understand each other and probably the delivery won't be in time. I remember that at the time I made some suggestions in a softer way, hint to the person with whom I work, to this senior and very respected consultant, try to clarify the expectations and the responsibilities. But probably I didn't do it firmly enough, and I didn't put enough effort to negotiate and communicate the demands and expectations. And as a result, the delivery was not done in time, and after me and my colleague, we needed to put mitigation measures, intensified data collection to deliver this evaluation in time. As we understand, in such situations, it's very important that if you are a manager, you actually lead the process, because if you don't do it, it can undermine your career, it can undermine the career of also your superior. And the reasons why I probably didn't do it the right way, and now I would have done it differently, is because I was a little bit intimidated by the seniority and the hierarchy of the consultant, and it didn't put me in the right position to communicate the demands and clearly assign responsibilities at that time. So what I would advise to younger people maybe not to be overconfident. I don't suggest to appear over-experienced and present yourself something that you are not yet. But if you are entrusted with responsibility and you need to lead and manage, just embrace it. And that hierarchy should not become impediment for clear communication and negotiation and management. So that's my story. And I'm happy to pass the ball to the next panelist. Thank you, Antonina.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elena. Please write if you had some like similar stories in the chat, because I definitely as a young evaluator had some similar situations and try to overcome that. And our next speaker will be Marco, who will share his story. Marco, floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Antonina. Hello, everybody. And thanks a lot, Alana. I mean, say that I also fully share your story. So it looks like it's not only yours, but probably several of us had similar stories. But from my side, I wanted to share with you 2 lessons learned. And the first is the importance of passion. I consider myself a very lucky person, because since I was young, even teenager, I knew what I wanted to do when I would have been grown up. And then so thanks to this clarity, I built up my entire career and even life around it. And what was my goal, let's say, my vision? It was that I wanted to contribute to better life for people. And so I was thinking how to do it in the most impactful manner. And I thought, there are 2 ways. One, you become, a strong politician in your country, so that you can really come up with public policies, etc. Or you become the general director of a big organization, so that you can shape also the vision of that big organization. Or the alternative is that you become an evaluator. And why? Because evaluation has a potential tremendous power to influence key decisions. And I learned it in several occasions. Just the last one, so I'm director of evaluation at UNFPA, the UN Agencies for Population. And, we carried out corporate evaluation on the humanitarian capacities of UNFPA. I mean, the capacity of UNFPA in working in humanitarian settings. And that evaluation was so influential that really helped to reshape the strategy and the policies of the agency to become much better in delivering results in humanitarian situations. So I was not the director of UNFPA. I was not the director of the humanitarian office of UNFPA, but being the director of evaluation office, I was able really to provide the evidence to help my colleagues to improve the capacities of the organization. So the first lesson is really passion. And here I would like to be very straightforward. If you don't have passion for evaluation, it's much better you go and work in a multilateral bank or not in a multilateral bank, in a commercial bank or in a multinational company, etc. Second lessons learned is about obviously building up experience, because as young evaluators, I mean, passion is very important, but if you don't have experience, I mean, it's quite difficult to start the career. And here my lessons learned was about being also quite clear on what kind of profile of evaluators you would like to be in future. And I see 3 profiles. I mean, there are many, but just to make it simple. The first is what I would call somehow, let's say, the academical evaluators. So those are the evaluators that work in academy, or sometimes perhaps also in the international financial institutions, etc. So are the ones that have done a PhD or a doctorate on evaluation, etc., and are very strong on theoretical aspect of evaluation. The second profile, on the other side, let's say, is what I would call the real-world evaluator. Those are the evaluators who, from the right beginning, they gave priority not to do a PhD, for example, but to actually do evaluations at the local level with local communities, etc. So are those who are working with local NGOs, with humanitarian NGOs, etc., etc. And the third profile is a kind of hybrid between this, what I call the academical and the real world. And that's what I in my personal situation, I gave priority. And this hybrid is something like working for international NGOs or United Nations agencies, etc. Because these kind of organizations are giving value both at the theoretical knowledge, but also at the practical knowledge. So it's very important that you have clarity on what kind of profile you would like to become, because that you can decide if you want to give priority to after the master, for example, to continue with a doctorate, a PhD, or to go in the field and to learn the real world experience. If you want to go to the field, in my case, that was my decision. I started as a poor volunteer because at the beginning it's very difficult, as I'm sure you all know. So I started as pure volunteer. You know, I just left. I went to Pakistan, Bangladesh. I was paying by myself, etc. And then I became an internship. And then you know, you can become a young UNV, for example, or a JPO, junior professional officers. These are all programs that different organizations, including United Nations, make available for young evaluators who are starting their own experience. So in summary, passion and the importance of experience. Over.
Thank you very much, Marco. Indeed, passion can be crucial in this process. Let's go to Young and Emerging Evaluators, to Mark Malobi. Please share your start of career.
Great, thank you. It's interesting how even the young and the old are able to share stories. When I was told about this, I had 2 points, 2 great lessons. One, commitment to evaluation. And I'm happy to hear from Marco. I had tried politics. You know, I was a student president at my university level. And it's very tough. It's hard. So, so I figured I need to be in another space whereby I'm able to give change and provide change. And to my fellow young and emerging evaluators on this call today, my journey actually started in 2018 for evaluation. And I started by enrolling at a local university here. I wanted to have some accreditation of some sort in evaluation. I enrolled for a master's degree. I did a master's degree, and subsequently I started volunteering. And I started volunteering in our local VOPE. VOPEs are the voluntary organization for professional evaluators, and it's called the Evaluation Society of Kenya. I availed myself whenever you know need arises. I would volunteer myself to to be available. We did a strategic plan. We worked on a website. We worked on a number of documents and the guidelines of the VOPEs. I didn't know much. I had never written a strategic plan. Lucky enough, they had someone who was experienced, in doing strategic plan, and I learned through the process. By the end, we were finishing. I could talk about, developing a strategic plan. Secondly, I again moved at a regional level and joined a Freya Yi network, and I started volunteering. We would organize webinars, trainings of some sort. And later I also joined Eval Youth, where currently I'm the vice chairperson. And when I joined Eval Youth, I volunteered to lead one of the task forces. And last year we were actually supported by Marco, by UNFPA here. We developed a guideline to actually engage young and emerging evaluators in the professional bodies at the leadership level. We did a global consultancy where I managed. I gained another skill, and we will be publishing this work by the end of this, actually, November. I also I volunteered quite a lot. I have worked with consultants, and I didn't need, money was not actually the drive. Money has not been the drive, rather, but to gain that space, because gaining, especially for the young and emerging, it's quite competitive to enter onto the evaluation space. So once you put yourself in this spectrum, you start seeing new opportunities. You meet new people. And it's through that, actually, I even got a chance to lead a consultancy, again, locally here in the country. And from that, I graduated and actually applied for work. Currently now, I'm employed by United Nations Foundation as the Monitoring Evaluation Learning Associate. I'm currently leading a country program. So I want to really encourage my fellow years here on this call. We just have that focus, be precise where you want to be, and move with speed and locate yourself in these spaces. You can join your local VOPE, join us at Eval Youth. We have so many great opportunities to build years, and that has been my journey. Commitment, and I've looked for some sort of accreditation, and that has also given me a mileage in the space of evaluation. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yes, indeed,
Yeah.
volunteering can help you, to try different roles. Yes, if to change. Okay, we have our next speaker, Mafalda. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for attending this session. So I'm going to start by explaining how I will end up in the evaluation career, and then I will share with you 3 lessons learned from that experience. I first started to work in the evaluation area a few years ago through an international internship that was managed by a government agency in my country that was targeted to young graduates willing to work abroad. So under this program, I joined the evaluation department of the African Development Bank, where I had the opportunity to learn the basics about evaluation. And the first lesson that I can share with you today is about proactively looking for opportunities to learn. And by this, I mean try to make the most of your internship, analyst, or consultancy position, and do not always wait for someone to give you work or to tell you what to do, but instead look proactively for opportunities to develop your capacity within the organization that first offered you the opportunity to work in the field. For example, I remember that when I did my first internship, that I had the opportunity to work on different evaluation roles because at a certain time I started to reach out to senior evaluators, asking them what I could do to help them in conducting their evaluations, and also even offered my skills to work on different evaluation activities. So it is very important to be proactive when you have the first opportunity. And the second lesson that I can share is related to be flexible, to work on different evaluation projects within the evaluation field and roles, particularly if you are starting your career and if you do not have too many years of experience. But at a given point, try to think about an area in which you like to focus on the long term. in which evaluation area you would like to specialize in, which thematic sector, what kind of evaluation work you'd like to do in the future. And I say this because most of the roles in evaluation require a number of years of experience in a given evaluation area and thematic sector. And of course, it is important to focus on the learning that you can take from those different roles because it can provide you the big picture about evaluation work, for example. But at a given point, try to narrow down your choices and decide on an area to specialize. And to conclude, if possible, try to extend your internship, analyst or consultancy position in the organization that first offered you the opportunity to work in the field, because if you leave too soon, you may not have consolidated all the skills you learned and acquired all the experience you need to be an expert in the field. So do not assume too soon that you have all the knowledge you need to become an expert in the field. And I will end here. Thank you. Back to you, Antonina.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fernanda. Indeed, learning is really important. Please, who is not speaking, please mute yourself in order we don't have like these noises. And now I am giving the floor to Bastian for your story and your start of your career.
Yeah, thank you very much, Antonina. I have to apologize for my voice. I have a very sore throat. It's not COVID, according to the PCR, but it's definitely something serious else. Maybe before giving a small anecdote, and I'm going to see to what extent I can finish it with this voice. This morning I didn't have any, so I recognized what Marco was saying. Although my trajectory has been a bit different from his, I started out as a chemist, and I'm trained as a chemist. But very early on in my studies, I got interested in questions about science and society and technology assessment. So that's also a sort of passion idea that Marco was referring to. So not sort of content yourself with what science can do, but what are the negative and maybe also positive, of course. No, sorry, the positive and also negative consequences of science technology on society. From then on, I went into issues of research and technology policy, the evaluation of those policies, and then years later, evaluation more generally, and that's how I ended up in multilateral organizations, and now I'm not acting anymore. I'm head of in-depth evaluation at the OECD, evaluating the impact of the committee work of the OECD on national policy making. Quite a challenge, by the way. So there's a thread throughout my career, which is not sort of a scenario that I thought of in the beginning, but there is some logics to it. But still, there are bifurcations, and that's one small lesson I want to share with you. In the 90s, that I think, I became acquainted with evaluation of research policies at the end of the 80s, so that's a long time ago, and was working on projects in the early 90s to compare the way in which different EU member states at the time, they were a bit less than today, how different EU member states evaluated their energy research and technologies, and also how they did foresight on those issues. And so I was not a full-time evaluator. I was more interested in research and technology policies, but little by little, there was more and more evaluation coming on. And at some point, I think it was in 97 and 98, my colleague and supervisor at the time, he needed to go to the first meeting of an evaluation panel in Brussels for the European Commission. But in fact, he wanted to go skiing rather that week, and he asked me if I could go there, take notes, and then brief him about it. So I said yes, well, of course, I'm happy to do that. And it should have ended there with taking the notes and coming back, but it turned out the panel didn't have a rapporteur. And because I was so seriously taking notes, the panel chair said, "Oh, we need a rapporteur. Do you like to stay on?" And of course, I discussed that with my supervisor then, and that was fine. But it was totally unexpected, and it brought me into a quite different area of work than I knew before, which was telematics, information technologies, etc. The lesson I draw is that you should always keep all kinds of doors open, because those are the opportunities that you are provided with by life, but just by the circumstances that help you move on either in the career that you already are stepped into or into new areas, etc. So it was not foreseen. It was an opportunity which should have, remained at that stage with just bringing notes back home and briefing my colleague on what had happened in the meeting. But I co-authored the report towards the very end. So that never say no. Maybe I've never said no too often, but I think that's an important lesson. And it's a question also of serendipity. Some things you just don't really foresee. You cannot really plan. I have another anecdote, but I think we have a second round with a completely different lesson. Thank you very much. My voice made it so far, so cross fingers. Thanks.
It was great. Your voice was fine. Thank you very much, Bastian. Yes, so we heard a lot of stories about passion, about importance of learning, importance to be bold and don't be shy because of hierarchy, and to be open to new opportunities. And let's go to our second round. We have a really interesting second question. It's how to find your place in evaluation world, do's and don'ts. And we will ask our speakers again to share their experience, their advices, their real stories. And we are waiting for that. Please, Elena, start. Oh, you are muted. Elena, you are muted. We cannot hear you.
Sorry, Antonina, I muted myself as you instructed. So
Yes,
I will come to course, I promise, but it will be at the end. So my do's and don'ts. I heard a lot of shared experience from our speakers, and among the points that I note down in do's, I will give one related maybe to learning and strengthening your methodological, technical stances, and one to actually how maybe build and navigate your career. So one of the advice, which is from my personal experience, I give, it's actually from technical and methodological perspective. Spend some time to review and familiarize yourself with evaluation theory. And here I mean some theories and approaches, as well as evaluation landscape. Why is it important? When you actually understand what are the roots of evaluations, where it's coming from, how this profession comes to its professionalization as a profession, you would better understand what are your skills, where they better match, what you probably would like to do and what you have, and understand your gaps. And I remember that I was advised some time ago by a fellow board member, read Evaluation Roots by Martin and Alken, and I did it. It was a very exciting book. Mark already mentioned some things about evaluation landscape, and here I mean, how does evaluation market actually looks like? Marco mentioned some players and types of evaluators. With P2P, peer career advisory sessions by my colleague Mariana Branco, I can put a link in the chat. There is a short video which explains very well evaluation landscape. It personally really helped me to position myself and understand where I am and where I would like to go, where I can bring value, where I can innovate, and where I want to innovate. So that's my sincere advice at DOS. And the second one, it's actually balance planning your career, but also allowing some flexibility. And what do I mean by this? It's useful to think about your career and do career mapping exercises, understanding your skills, understanding your gaps, understanding what you would like to learn and how. And there are multiple tools and resources nowadays through Eval Youth, as I mentioned, peer-to-peer career advisory, where you can get an advice on how to do it. But it's also important from my perspective, and referring to the story of Bastian, to let some happenstances which are just unplanned to happen. And here it's very useful to be proactive and to volunteer, as my colleagues already said, but not only within your organization, also explore cross-divisional work, cross-organizational even work, to understand what evaluation work outside your particular sector looks like, because it also helps you to find informal and formal mentors, receive like right advice. And like there is a theory of John Crumbles who write about these planned happenstances, which suggests to approach your career in a little bit flexible way and allow some unexpected events happen, and they should be driven by your curiosity. So that's my two do's. And from don'ts, I would say don't think that if you are new, you don't have anything to bring on the table. And why I say this, because I received many messages through LinkedIn, Emerging Evaluators group, or personal messages, or just through the conversations with younger evaluators who say, I really would like to join, I would like to explore, but I'm not yet an evaluator. And through the conversation with them, and when we start speaking about what they know, what they study, mapping their skills, interests, what they would like to do, actually we find many contact points where they can deliver and bring value to this profession and to this organization. So be proactive and don't think that you don't have what you need to start. And here I'm coming back to the horse. It's again the slide about planning. Whatever you do, you need to plan well and balance your professional activities and your volunteering activities, because in this excitement and passion, it's very easy to lose yourself. And it's better to deliver less but good than to start many activities and not finish them. And they would look like this horse, which starts with a very strong foundation, but after finishing, as you can see. So that's all from my side.
Yeah, thank you very much. Indeed, we should allow this flexibility and chance to come up to us, yes, and to take it. I will give a floor to Marco for your. You already mentioned a little bit about how did you start career and how you navigated, but maybe you want to add more insights.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Let me add just two things that are a segue of what also I already said, and actually also very much of what other friends and colleagues said. And there are two. The first is plan with flexibility. So things where you would like to be in 5 to 10 years from now, and then build your professional and personal life towards that direction. So first of all, you have to understand yourself, what you want from yourself, what do you like and what you are passionate about. Second, you have to understand what are the available jobs and the job market. So you have to study the job market, and then try to match what the market is asking for, and what you like to do, and what you can do, and also try to see where are the gaps, so that you can train yourself to strengthen those areas where you feel that you have some areas for improvement. And also always keep abreast of cutting edge developments, not only because of the COVID, but in general, the world today is changing very, very fast. And therefore also the evolution community needs to be very responsive to this quick change of the external environment. So it's very important that you keep abreast of all the new developments. So that's about the planning, but with flexibility. So always be very attentive and open to opportunities that are coming up, that are not planned, but are just coming up. And then obviously be flexible to be able to take advantage of these opportunities that are coming up. The second is, well, Mark already alluded to it, is about activism. And here, let me do a distinction. I would say the do is be an activist, and the don't, I would say, but don't be a networker. In the sense that, I don't know, myself personally, I see the entire idea of network. Everybody's talking about the importance of networking, etc. I'm not a very big fan of networking, because personally, perhaps I'm wrong, but personally, I see networking as such as something very much self-motivated. If the idea of networking is to let you be known by others, etc., I'm not such a fan, because, as I said, I see it's very much self-motivated. While being an activist is different. You are an activist not because you want to be known. You are an activist because you believe in something and you try to move forward that vision and that agenda. And that's what drove me. I've been a quite active activist. I started when in the American Evaluation Association. When I was quite young evaluators. That was my first exposure to the VOPEs, to the evaluation associations, and that experience was so important to me that then each time that I was going and to live and work in a country, I was trying to create national evaluation associations, always with all the colleagues, etc. So when I went to Niger, I co-founded with all the Nigerian colleagues the Niger Evaluation Network. Then in Brazil, the same. In Latin America, the same. And then with the Eval Partners, Eval for Action, and also I was chair of the UNEG, UN Evaluation Group, etc. I did all of this because I believe in what I was doing, not just for the mere networking. Just another thing. Again, Mark spoke about the importance of volunteering. Not only Mark, everybody spoke about the importance of volunteering. And absolutely, that's very important. Just to say that, okay, again, based on my experience, I also started volunteering very early. But this can be quite challenging. Elena spoke about the importance of balancing, because I had to work anyway. I had to work to be able to be a volunteer that is, by definition, is not paid. So it's important to make this balancing act. And perhaps, if I may, sometimes there are some colleagues, some people who are telling me, well, I would like to work for the United Nations, but it's very difficult. I'm not the son of an ambassador. I'm not the son of a minister. I'm not the son of whatever. Well, I'm the son of a taxi driver and a housewife. So I came from a low-income family without any particular political or social connection, etc. but I was able to work for the UN. So that's just to say, is it difficult? But it's possible. So if you really believe in it, you can do it. And just to finalize, because I think that's the last round. So just the kind of 4 takeaway to become a strong evaluators. You need 4 things. 1, technical competencies and skills, what I call the R skills, about methodologies, approaches, etc. Second, what Alan already referred to is the so-called soft skills, your capacities to relate to people, to build trust, to communicate and negotiate, etc. Third, real-world experience. My experience is that again, the academic background is absolutely fundamental, but is not enough. You need real-world experience in the field with local communities, etc. And last and not least, if it was not clear, passion and activism. Thanks a lot. Antonio, this time I think you are muted.
Muted.
Yes, now you can hear me?
Yeah, now yes.
Okay, now we're going to Mark.
All right.
Please, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. In my culture, we say when we hear the same repeated sentiments, then those sentiments are true. So I may repeat a few, but I have a few do's for my fellow colleagues, young and emerging evaluators. 1, show up. Be available. Be teachable. Agility and adaptability is very key, and I would mention this specifically when I started volunteering. I didn't, I was working from a family business, and I really wanted to grow and do other things. So I volunteered in many networks, and I rose into doing and running point in those networks. But then I got work. I got somewhere where I am employed, where I get paid. And I want to mention the point of being adaptable. Now I have a schedule. If it's evaluate, I have a time frame for evaluate. I wake up at maybe 5. I give it 1 hour to respond to all the emails for that I need to respond. And that system has really worked. So I needed to mention that for my fellow colleagues, especially those who are starting off and finding yourself in so many networks, yet you are employed, or rather work comes later. The other point is not to give up. And I would talk about when in my many spectrum when I was volunteering, I worked with a number of professors who taught me how to respond to a TOR, or how to go about it and how to write it. And I would write, I somehow became good about it, or rather, I would feel, and I realized I would write, they would get the contract and they would not, they would tell me later after they have gotten and actually actualized and implemented the work. Well, I could have given up, but I took it with a different touch. I saw that I was getting better. I could actually write a proposal, respond to a TOR that would be sensible enough to actually warrant one to be given work. So I took it as a point of growth that I'm able and I've actually advanced to be able to respond to a TOR. So for my colleagues, don't give up. The other one is to develop a thick skin in the game, as Michael Patton puts it. Again, that relates to not giving up. We need to continue soldiering on as we continue looking for work, and especially I know for the years across Africa, I know that this is one of the biggest challenge I come across when we are talking to the years. And I have a few dons. One, when you are volunteering in your VOPEs, don't get wrapped up in the VOPE politics. VOPEs have politics, as we all know. For one who is growing, a young and emerging evaluator, try to, as much as possible, avoid politics within the VOPEs, because that will either destabilize you, and you may not progress. And the other last point I know I'm talking about, I think we've really talked about that, and neutrality in your working. And I would give this as an example of when I first did my first consultancy as the lead consultant. When I gave the report, the board did not agree on the report. So some of the people were for the report, others were not for the report. And I got wrapped up in that battle of the board. And actually, I ended up not being paid. So for the young and emerging evaluators, try as much as possible to avoid that. Know how to distance yourself when you're doing this work, and it will be good. Thank you.
Mark, for such honest insights. And please, Mafalda, floor is yours. Please keep 3 minutes, if it's possible. And you are muted. Still muted.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I came to work in the evaluation field without knowing too much about the profession. It was through a program that matched my skills and experience with the evaluation area. And since then, I've been working as a consultant, so I'm going to give my tips from this perspective. In terms of things that you can do to find a place in the evaluation world, I will suggest that you promote your skills and experience to potential organizations or clients, and make sure that you are prepared to demonstrate and deliver what you are selling. For example, have a sample of your past work. It can be a research document you produced during your time as a student, or even an example of an analysis you have done from your past work. Another thing that I think that it is important is to join a professional network, because you can expand your skills and develop your skills, and also connect with the evaluators that are active in the field, and even observe the way they act, the way they work. I have learned a lot from being an active member at IDEAS and Eval SDGs, and I even had the opportunity to get hands-on experience in tasks that are relevant to an evaluation department, for example, drafting a knowledge product, preparing a dissemination strategy, and even facilitating a group discussion. I don't know if my colleagues agree with this. Also, if you are part of a network, you can keep up to date with developments in the field, and you can join a community of practice or a thematic interest group, in the case of IDEAS, that keeps you connected with evaluators that work in the field that you want to specialize. And sometimes you can have knowledge about job opportunities that are circulated within the network. In terms of things that you should not be doing, what I suggest is do not reject an opportunity to work in the field, even if it is not the kind of evaluation work that you would like to do, because you will always develop skills that are relevant to the evaluation area, and you never know if you end up doing the job you want. And finally, I think that it is important to not compromise your integrity and ethical values, because we cannot be good evaluators without being transparent and without making sure that no one is left behind. And I think that this is important if we want that our work as evaluators is trusted. And I end here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mafalda. Indeed, it's a lot of really important insights. And I give the floor to Bastian for your insights and how was in your career, how to navigate well.
Yes, thank you, Antonina. I mean, the easy thing of being among the last to speak is that you can simply say, I agree with all that has been said before, which I, in fact, do to a great extent, and with both the do's and the don'ts. And I just decided, for the sake of time, and maybe also because there are some attendants to this panel who would like to ask some questions, I'll keep the anecdote for those who want over a beer in Copenhagen when we finally will get there. It was an anecdote about even if you meet very important people in your career, never be stabilized. Never be destabilized. That's my voice. But I'll leave it at. Instead of the anecdote, I would like to underline the importance already mentioned by Marco and the others of engaging. It can be engaging in professional societies like the EES, and not necessarily for the networking per se, because it's far too often seen as, well, I'm connecting to the rest of the world for my own sake, but because you think it's important, a cause to work for. And I remember that in 2014, we started thinking, thanks to a great extent to Mariana, about the next generation of evaluators and how to associate and connect with the young evaluators who in the meantime are not so young anymore, so we need to think about the next generation again. And therefore I would call on the younger evaluators to not be shy and sit in their offices or in their home offices as we all do nowadays, but really to come forward and engage for the engagement, and also because we need to renew, I think, the evaluators that are there. And again, I promise the anecdote, which was just more of a funny thing that happened in my career, will be for Copenhagen. With pleasure.
Great. We will be waiting for that. Okay, we have 10 minutes for our discussion, and we have one question, which is came, whom to ask about advice, how to move on your career? Who is a good person to be asking? So maybe Elena, you can share your insights.
Right. I actually realized that I'm the only one who didn't say even a few words about my path. So very briefly, I started in private sector, and after I moved to academia because I started economics and business. And from this accumulated knowledge in analysis and management consulting, I started targeting evaluation in development sector on purpose, and after worked in organizations of United Nations and now in OECD. But here I'm in my private capacity, I would like to stress it. And responding to the question to whom to ask for an advice, I would say to ask for an advice to people whom you trust and feel comfortable with. And I would not put a boundary. This could be your supervisor if you have one. If you're still searching for opportunities, you can start asking people, like some smart people start asking for advice already in the chat. And we are willing to respond to their questions. By following advice of many of us and engaging, you would be surprised how many formal and informal supervisors you might find. Actually, in my career, in my understanding of evaluation world, the informal mentors, they played much bigger role, and sometimes they even don't know that they were my mentors. So thank you very much to these people. And the last thing, don't be, as Bastian mentioned, shy to approach maybe some people, very, very experienced or renowned experts. Some of them are in our panel, thinking that they would not have time for you, or it's true, they might not have time for you, but sometimes in their 5 minutes, they can give you an advice of your life and be very generous about it.
Thank you very much, Elena. Bastian, you raised your hand. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I would make a very brief remark. That the Marco and my generation, we didn't have a lot of training possibilities, and I think that's something which has changed a lot. Evaluation was very much learned on the job, I think, at least that's my case. Whereas now there is, I think, a wealth of training programs that are even universities offering things in curricula and evaluation. I think that's something which is very good and very important in order to get the skills levels there where they should be.
Okay, thank you very much. We have one more question regarding confidence in evaluation. At what point did you feel that you are like enough confident as evaluator? Maybe I ask Marco if you can answer on that.
Well, I don't know. Perhaps never, in the sense that, as I was saying, evaluation, that the context is changing so quickly that evaluation is also having challenges in keeping up to the continuous changes. So, even if it's a few years that I'm involved in the world of evaluation, I constantly find myself in situations where at a certain point I'm saying, well, how to move forward? How can we address this challenge? Because there are continuously new challenges coming up. And that's the value of constantly being open to learning, to the constant learning, is absolutely true what Bastian said, that, for those of our generation, there were not many training opportunities. Now I think that young evaluators are in a better position because there are much more training available. Having said that, the most important thing is to be always open for learning, and that's also one of the importance of engaging with the professional evaluation community, with evaluation associations, etc., because you can continuously learning both from your own work, but also learning from what our peers are doing, because very often we have the similar challenges, and so this kind of a continuous dialogue with everybody is very important.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. One more question we have regarding like cultural peculiarities, and if they actually influence your start of your career in evaluation, if it makes some differences or not. So maybe I can ask Mafalda if you may answer.
Well, being able to work with different groups and different people with a variety of backgrounds and experiences, I think that this has enriched my experience in evaluation, because in evaluation we need to understand the different views of different groups, and this was important. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mark, do you have any also insights about cultural peculiarities, if it was important at the beginning of your career?
Right. Yeah, I think as Mafalda said, you realize when you interact with different people across the scope, there's always a continuous learning, and as Marco confirmed that this is an ending journey. You are constantly learning new or unlearning some of the things that you had learned before. Yeah, especially I know for the older generation can really confirm this. They have done lots of unlearning, and so I think it's through that joining the community of network, being showing up, being teachable, and that availability builds up and makes one a strong evaluator.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Bastian, you have your hand raised. Maybe you want to give us sides?
Yes, thank you, Antonina. Just very briefly again, following up on both Mark and Marco's remark, that part of that is that rather than going into routine work, younger and older evaluators should not be afraid of taking on jobs where they think they are at the limit of what they possibly can do intellectually, but always go maybe one step beyond that. And I've several examples in my own career where in the beginning I was sort of, will it really work out? But okay, let's try it and do it. And it generally worked out fine. Sometimes with a lot of stress and always with a lot of work, but it did work. And so don't be afraid. Don't be shy, we said. Also, don't be afraid of taking on new things because the world is changing and the objects that we are required to evaluate are also changing. So we need new methodologies, new approaches, new ways of thinking. And it shouldn't be the case that people say, no, this is new, so I don't do it. Voilà,
Yeah,
thank
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Bastian. Yes, Marco, go ahead.
Very briefly, just to say on the question on the culture, etc. You know, as evaluators, we have to be very flexible. On the one side, we were just saying that we should be passionate, activists, or even bold. Don't be afraid, etc., etc. On the other side, especially when it comes to the question on culture, etc., we should always remember to be very humble, always to listen, and and always to be very respectful to any other opinion, cultural values, religious beliefs, etc., etc. So it's really about flexibility. There are times that you need to be bold and active and speak out, etc. There are other times where you have to be very humble, listen, respect, etc. Over.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I don't see any raised hands. So perhaps we can go to our closing. Okay. You cannot see my. Yes. Okay. And we would like to close with one short quote. I've asked all panelists to prepare one quote, memorable quote, which they took it during their career, and it can be something inspirational or memorable just. And I would like one by one. This will be our last words in this round table. So again, we will start from Alena.
Thank you very much, Antonina. So yeah, this quote is actually the real quote, which is already for more than 1 year on LinkedIn profile. And why for me it's important? In evaluation world and evaluation work, when you do analysis and you collect data, you think about data collection methods, and after there may be modern tools, but we put so much assumptions in our work about the work we do, about projects, people, context, that it's very easy to go wrong if you really marry your assumptions and marry your ideas. So that's the reason why I put it on my LinkedIn profile, so that I sometimes widen, or actually often widen my view and be open to different interpretations.
Oh, it's nice. It's even in your LinkedIn profile. Really.
Yes, for more than 1 year.
Interesting. Okay, Mafalda, your quote.
Yeah. Can you hear? Yeah. So this quote is what keeps me motivated to work in the evaluation field. We need to observe the things as they are. We need to understand different viewpoints, to connect with different people in order to make a judgment about what works, what doesn't work, and why.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Mafalda. Marco, your quote.
Well, I mean, you can read by yourself the quote in the screen, so I will give you another quote that is not in the screen. and that is that, usually people says, young people are important because they are the future. I always say no. Young people are important because they are the presence to ensure a better future. So that's just to say that young people has a key role to play in evaluation and beyond evaluation. So just be bold and do whatever needs to be done.
Thank you very much, Marco. Mark, it's also connected to Young and Emerging Evaluators. Yes. Okay.
Yes. I'm quite passionate about young and emerging evaluators. And this quote is inspired by Marco. Marco has told us so many. So it's a combination of Marco, Khalil, I know he's here, and Patton. And when we look, and especially from the work that we did, we often get that young people are excluded on the pretext that they don't have this experience, they are not yet there, but they are not inadequate. Youth have fresh ideas, energy, and creativity. We are more powerful beyond measure. So thank you to my inspiration persons, Marco, Khalil, and Patton.
Thank you very much, Mark. And Bastian, your quote is like a last accord for our roundtable today. You are still muted.
Yeah, I lost my screen because I'm working on my telephone. Yeah, the quote, which is not a quote of somebody, I just invented it because I think it's true, and it's not necessarily something big. I think that what is important as an evaluator, young or old, that you in some way probably would benefit from making a difference. That somebody said, "Hey, this is interesting. This person has something to say." It's a bit like what Mark was saying in his quote in some way. And be influential. We've talked a lot about influential evaluations. There again, I don't mean one has to be sort of changing the world overnight. That's not the point I'm making. It's more about making a difference and being influential within the team, having your specific interests, your specific skills, your specific drive, your specific activist approach, Marco would maybe say. And that I think is important. And I invite everyone to ask themselves, well, how do I make a difference? How am I influential at a micro level, maybe, or on a macro level? And how can I improve that and make that interesting for the evaluators and also, of course, those that are evaluated that surround me. That was a bit the idea behind this quote.
Thank you very much, Bastian. Okay, we are going to our closing of our roundtable. We have idea to put all our tips together for one pager, and we will share with ES. This one pager tips from roundtable, and I hope it was in general very helpful for young and emerging evaluators. And also, please be in touch. I already seen that Elena shared many contacts and many resources. Also write to EvaLUse and EvaLUse chapters, because indeed it is important to be in the networks, and in networks of young and emerging evaluators, they can help you to navigate better. And a good conference ahead. Thank you and bye.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You.
Bye-bye, guys.
Mark, you are still there. No, Mark left. Erika, are you there?
Yeah.
Thank you, Antoine.
Great panel.